So today we're going to be tackling a question that many of us face. Why am I so tired all of the time? We all know that feeling, right? You hit snooze one too many times, you drag yourself through the day, and you dream of crawling back into bed by lunchtime. But what's actually causing that constant fatigue and ups and downs in energy levels throughout the day? Well, good news for my fellow energy deprived friends, because in this video, we're going to be exploring the key culprits behind low energy levels that you may not be aware of and how to fix it to help you feel energized and actually ready to take on the day. So my name is Bonnie McGibbon and I am a registered dietitian and health coach here to share evidence-based sustainable nutrition and lifestyle hacks and facts. So welcome to my Balancing Nutrition channel. All right, so just to get the obvious out of the way, not getting enough sleep is probably the number one cause of tiredness and low energy. But for the sake of this video, let's assume that you do get 7 to 8 hours of sleep most nights and move on to the next point. So one of the most common causes for low energy aside from lack of sleep is actually the blood sugar roller coaster. So refined carbohydrates and sugary drinks cause blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, leaving you feeling drained and craving more sugar. But it actually goes beyond that too. So sometimes just having too many carbs, even the good kind, at one time can have a similar effect. Now this is because when you consume carbohydrate-rich foods that are high in sugar, refined, or in large quantities alone, they quickly enter your bloodstream, causing a rapid rise in your blood sugars. So the initial surge might translate into a temporary energy boost. However, the body swiftly releases insulin to counter this rise, leading to a sharp drop in blood sugars, which is the dreaded crash. So this crash leaves you feeling tired and sluggish and craving more sugar to repeat the cycle. So if you are prone to those afternoon slumps, then you will know exactly what I mean here. Now, why does this happen? Because big spikes and drops in your blood sugar levels can negatively impact your mitochondria, which are the energy powerhouses of the cells. So in short terms, during spikes, cells are flooded with glucose. Now the mitochondria can then become overwhelmed and actually struggle to process it efficiently. And because they are responsible for energy production in the body, you're left feeling tired and sluggish due to it not working properly or the mitochondria not working properly. So that's what the spikes in blood sugar levels can do, but the drops that follow the spikes can also contribute to low energy levels. So during drops, the cells become starved for sugar, their primary fuel source, right? So this can directly impact mitochondrial function and energy production. So low blood sugar also triggers a stress response, leading to the release of stress hormones like cortisol, a hormone produced by the adrenal glands. And these hormones can further disrupt mitochondrial function. And on top of that, chronically low blood sugar can actually suppress the creation of new mitochondria, limiting the overall capacity to actually meet energy demands. So basically what I'm saying is that both high and low blood sugar levels can hinder the mitochondria's ability to produce ATP or energy, leading to fatigue, muscle weakness, and impaired organ function too. Even cellular damage and hormonal imbalances can come from this. So if you think this might be the cause of your energy slumps, then listen through to the end where I will give you tips to help prevent this. Now, nutrient deficiencies can be another cause of low energy levels because our bodies need a variety of vitamins and minerals to function optimally, right? So deficiencies in iron, vitamin B12, magnesium are commonly associated with fatigue and can cause low energy levels, which you've likely heard of those before. But there are some lesser known nutrient deficiencies that can also play a role in this, such as vitamin D deficiency. This crucial vitamin is involved in various bodily functions, and low levels have been linked to fatigue, muscle weakness, and bone pain. And believe it or not, it is actually pretty common these days, particularly in the winter months, and even in places like Australia and New Zealand, right? Where many assume that it wouldn't be an issue. Now, another one is vitamin B6 deficiency, and this vitamin plays a role in energy metabolism. So deficiency can lead to fatigue and weakness and nerve problems, although in saying that, this tends to be far less common of a nutrient deficiency. And lastly is zinc deficiency. So this mineral is essential for immune function, for energy production, among other things. And deficiency can cause fatigue, poor wound healing, and taste disturbances as well. So the only way to know for sure if you're deficient is actually to get a blood test done to rule out any of these. And I would actually encourage you to do that first, just so that you know that it's not a nutrient deficiency or that it is. Now, the third thing that may be sucking your energy levels away is actually dehydration. So dehydration plays a significant role in low energy levels because water is essential for almost every single bodily function. So when you're dehydrated, your body loses fluids, leading to a decrease in blood volume. And this decrease forces your heart to work harder to circulate the remaining blood throughout your body, causing fatigue and making you feel sluggish. Blood also transports oxygen and essential nutrients to your cells, which are needed for that energy production. So dehydration hinders that system and essentially starves your cells of fuel that they need to function properly. And also dehydration can lead to an electrolyte imbalance, which can cause fatigue among many other things. And it can also affect your brain function. So some studies have actually shown that even mild dehydration can lead to difficulty concentrating, decreased alertness, and impaired cognitive performance. And this can make you feel foggy and slow down your thinking and hinder your ability to focus, right? Further impacting your energy levels. So most people are aware of when they are dehydrated, but in case you didn't know how to tell, here are some signs and symptoms of dehydration. So thirst, which is not actually always the first sign. Fatigue and sluggishness, dark colored urine, and I actually think that's one of the best ways to tell how hydrated you are is by looking at the color of your urine. Decreased urination, dry mouth and lips, dizziness, headaches, and even constipation. All right, so the fourth potential cause of low energy levels is environmental factors. So our surroundings can actually play a significant role in how energized we feel. For example, poor air quality is one of those things. So living or working in areas with high levels of air pollution can contribute to fatigue and headaches and difficulty concentrating. And one of the reasons for that is because air pollution can contain pollutants like fine particulate matter, which irritate the lungs and make it harder to breathe. And this can lead to a decrease in oxygen intake, hindering your body's ability to produce energy for your cells. Air pollution can also trigger inflammatory responses in the body, and on top of that, certain air pollutants can disrupt your sleep cycle, leading to fragmented sleep and daytime fatigue. Fine particulate matter, for example, dust, dirt, and smoke, have also been linked to sleep apnea and insomnia. Now, sunlight is another environmental factor affecting energy levels. So sunlight plays a crucial role in regulating our natural circadian rhythm, also known as our internal clock. So this rhythm controls our sleep-wake cycle and other various bodily functions too, including energy levels. So spending limited time outdoors, or not enough, can disrupt this rhythm in several ways. So one of which is through melatonin suppression. So sunlight exposure suppresses the production of melatonin, a hormone that signals sleepiness. So when you don't get enough sunlight, melatonin production can increase during the day, leading to daytime fatigue, which is why it's so important to actually make time to get outside. Now, the fifth thing that may be contributing to your low energy, which is actually very common, is an unbalanced diet. So this can mean many different things. It could be not eating enough, because that can cause low energy, but also eating too much can cause low energy. So it pays to really get in tune with your own body's hunger and satiety cues rather than relying on arbitrary calculations like calories to determine this. And I will do a video on this in the future if you want to know more about how to get more in tune with your body's natural hunger and satiety cues. So an unbalanced diet also refers to a diet lacking in fruits and vegetables and whole grains, meaning that you miss out on essential nutrients and fiber, both crucial for sustained energy. Protein is another one of those things. However, I would argue that in this case, the quality of carbohydrates and fiber are key for regulating energy levels. A diet too high in sugar and processed foods can also cause low energy, as mentioned at the start of this video, due to those sugar spikes and crashes, and also due to inflammation caused from eating too many processed foods. So I like to think of our bodies like a car. If we didn't fill it with petrol or diesel or charge it for those electric cars these days, it wouldn't run, right? It also requires other fluids like water and coolant and oil to run smoothly and optimally. Now, if you miss one of those things, it's going to run for a while, but suboptimally, with a high chance of something breaking down in the near future, right? And our bodies are no different. Sure, you could run on the bare minimum or rely on processed foods all the time for a while, but if you're not getting enough of the nutrients your body actually requires to function at its best, then guess what? You're going to feel like crap over time, and you're going to have other consequences down the line too. Moving on to the sixth thing that can be draining your energy, and this is actually inactivity. So it might seem counterintuitive, but inactivity can actually make you feel tired. And here's why. So when you're active, your heart rate increases, pumping more blood throughout your body. And this blood carries oxygen, the fuel that your cells need to function properly and generate energy. So when you're inactive, blood flow slows down, delivering less oxygen to your cells, leading to fatigue and sluggishness. So regular physical activity strengthens your muscles and improves their efficiency in using oxygen, whereas inactivity weakens muscles, making simple tasks even feel more tiring. So exercise also stimulates the release of endorphins, hormones that have mood boosting and pain relieving effects. So they also contribute to feelings of well-being and energy. So therefore, inactivity leads to a decrease in endorphin production, potentially contributing to fatigue and a lower mood. And on top of that, inactivity can disrupt your sleep cycle, leading to fragmented sleep and daytime fatigue. So the seventh potential cause of low energy levels is the big S word, stress. And in particular, chronic stress, because it can raise cortisol levels, which isn't good when it is chronically high. It does naturally have spikes and dips throughout the day, but when it's chronically high, that's when it becomes detrimental because it can increase inflammation in the body and decrease ATP or energy production. So it can also increase heart rate and blood pressure and cause blood sugar fluctuations, among many other things. So I know this is one people often roll their eyes at because they've heard it before and already know that stress is bad, quote unquote. But when you look at nearly every non-hereditary condition and negative side effects, stress almost always plays a role. So imagine how much better you would feel overall if you actually started paying attention to your stress levels. Okay, so these are the last few causes of low energy that I'm going to share today that I want to mention before moving into tips to help improve low energy levels. And while the usual suspects like sleep deprivation, poor diet, and dehydration often take center stage when discussing low energy levels, several less obvious culprits can also be at play. So one of which is underlying health conditions such as anemia. Thyroid issues as well, so both an underactive and an overactive thyroid can cause fatigue along with other symptoms like weight changes and mood swings and chronic infections and also sleep apnea. And lastly, even certain medications. So even those prescribed for other health issues can have fatigue as a side effect. So this is particularly common with antidepressants, antihistamines, and also pain medications such as opioid pain medications. So now that we have gone through some of the potential reasons why you feel tired and have low energy levels, let's give you some tips to boost your energy levels. So tip number 1, so choose minimally processed carbohydrates with naturally high fiber contents, such as quinoa, grainy sourdough bread, brown rice, lentils, and legumes, and so on. The fiber content in these carbs will help to produce a more steady release of sugars into your bloodstream, so you don't get as big of the spikes and crashes that lead to those energy slumps. It's also good to pair any carb-containing foods or meals with some healthy fats and protein to help slow the absorption again. So try not to eat something sweet first in the morning as well. Instead, try and opt for something savory for breakfast or as your first snack of the day. Or have a non-starchy vegetable before eating anything sweet, including fruit in the morning. So for example, you could have a carrot and even dip that in some hummus if you really wanted to have oats for your breakfast. And I will be giving some more tips for blood sugar regulation and hacks in a later video to come. Now, tip number 2 is to avoid nutrient deficiencies as much as possible by eating a balanced diet. Now, this means aiming to have each of the main food groups, for example, vegetables and fruit, breads and cereals, and protein-rich foods and a healthy fat, at each main meal in the day, and try your best to not skip breakfast. So in addition to that, try and snack smart. So choose nutrient-rich options like fruits with nut butter, or veggie sticks with hummus, or dark chocolate in moderation. And avoid sugary treats that lead to crashes as much as you possibly can. Also opt for healthy fats like those found in nuts and seeds and avocados, as these aid in satiety and also offer sustained energy. Now, tip number 3 is to stay hydrated. So try and drink plenty of water throughout the day. Even if you don't feel thirsty, you want to be drinking before that point, because when you are thirsty, that usually indicates that you might be dehydrated. So the rough guidelines are around 8 glasses a day or 30 mils per kg of body weight, but adjust based on your activity level and climate, and even just on other symptoms like the color of your urine. It can also be good to include hydrating foods in your diet too, like fruits and vegetables and soups. And carry a reusable bottle with you throughout the day so that you can sip it regularly. Monitor your urine color. Pale yellow is ideal. There's a lot of, those charts that you can find online. I can even put one here so you can see what to be aiming for. And be mindful of diuretics like caffeine and alcohol, which can increase fluid loss. So tip number 4 is, if you think air pollution is a contributing factor to your energy levels or low energy levels, invest in an air purifier. So this can help to filter out pollutants in your home or your workspace. And also be sure to spend time outdoors. So aiming for at least 20 to 30 minutes of daily sunlight exposure, preferably in the morning, to help regulate your circadian rhythm and also to increase vitamin D levels. Now, tip number 5 is to get moving. So important to note that this doesn't mean that you need to become a gym rat. Even small increases in activity level can make a big difference. So this is also going to be beneficial for regulating your blood sugar levels too. As little as a 10-minute walk within an hour and a half of eating a meal can help to reduce blood sugar spikes and crashes. So this is because as your muscles move, they tap into the sugar circulating in your bloodstream after eating a meal, right? And they use that as fuel, which helps to prevent the spikes in your blood sugar levels and leads to more stability. So it also improves insulin sensitivity too, meaning that it can better utilize the glucose in your bloodstream as fuel. And on top of that, post-meal movement stimulates the release of feel-good endorphin and prevents a big drop in blood sugars, which can cause energy slumps. And it also reduces cravings for sugary food, thereby helping with appetite control too. And that's all just from a 10-minute post-meal walking session or any form of low-intensity movement. So if you're not currently doing any activity or barely any, start gradually with activities you actually enjoy and with easy things like a brisk walk, swimming or dancing, and work up to that 30 minutes of moderate intensity most days of the week, alongside those short post-meal walks. And you could even start there. So my last tip is to reduce stress as much as possible. Even just doing as little as 10 minutes a day of something like meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, and mindfulness can be really beneficial. But in saying that, it's also good to get to the root cause of why you're even stressed in the first place and see if you can work on that first before just trying to come up with solutions to manage it. So that is all for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and for more nutrition and lifestyle facts and hacks, please subscribe to my channel and comment below for any topics that you want me to cover in the future. So I'll see you next time.